Anyway, thank you.
I think there's been I've noticed a lot of different reactions to the show It's a Sin from people who were around at this time, but who didn't know necessarily to the extent of what was happening, because like you say, so much was just brushed under the carpet or happened in silence, and it's taken decades for us to come to a better understanding. And I think still today, there's so much stigma still surrounding HIV and talking about your status and talking about, even being gay. There's still such specific different stigmas, aren't there? So and also having young people watch the show and, like you say, having no idea that this happened and are so shocked to see that people were treated in this way and not that long ago, so.
Oh, I can remember first hearing about AIDS when I was in New York. We didn't know what it was, and it was all so confusing. So along with everyone's personal dilemma, there was this great. It was everywhere. You could read about it everywhere. It wasn't just a private thing. It was a pandemic. And we all know what pandemics are like now, but we didn't quite then.
I think that's one of the big takeaways I got from doing It's a Sin was just the complete inaction from the government at the time and how they weren't willing to step in and didn't want to. Like you say, though, that there was some measures. I think it must have gotten a bit better, like they're sending pamphlets around, but it's really shocking. And like you say, it's really thanks to the people who fought at the time on the ground and who did respond to the crisis that, we have everything to thank for.
How many countries is it in the Commonwealth where it's illegal to be gay? It's something like 37 or something horrible.
It's a lot, yeah.
So it's important for us to know our history, not just to hug ourselves and say things are better, but to open our eyes as to what it is actually currently like for people.
Yeah.
Elsewhere. When I was at work, which was mainly in the theatre, people didn't like gay people. And I remember once when I was at the National Theatre, going into the loo by the green room there and seeing Ian McKellen is a homo written on the wall. This was in the workplace, but an awful lot of people working there, so you would expect some misfits.
Yeah.
Well, Stonewall gets a lot of flack these days because they've taken on transgender issues.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's little bit mean-spirited. I do hear people and gay people talk about transgender people in very much the same terms as people used to talk about your common garden gay.
Thank you. Yes, exactly. It's very upsetting to see.
The connection between us all is that we come under the queer umbrella. We are queer. I quite like being queer, actually. I mean, I'd like to be the
Me too.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's why we like showing off so much. Yes, we're all queer, and the problems that transgender people have with the law are not dissimilar from what used to be the case for us. Right. So I think we should all be allies, really. No label. Because how can you put a label on somebody? How can you write an obituary? A life is lived, and you're all that life, with its mistakes and its stupidities and its glories, if you're lucky. It doesn't come easy to me to say queer about myself because for so long it was the hate word,
Right.
But of course, if you grab it to yourself and own it, then the meaning changes.